So I came across this video and I was instantaneously curious because it popped up in my recommended feed. And as as we all know, I've been railing on Ezra Klein pretty consistently for the simple fact that he is basically a dude who just wants to do anything possible to get Republicans to read his fucking Substack articles. I don't think there's like any other better way to put this besides he really wants Republicans to read his fucking Substack articles that they aren't going to read anyways. We all know with like the fucking Abunda bullshit, all the other like nonsense that he keeps pushing for, we should run pro-life Democrats in more red states, and it's just like that's a really fucking stupid idea because it just ignores a lot of the liberals that are living in there. And also, this is an experiment that's already been done where a bunch of pro life, more conservative Democrats were run in a lot of these deeper red states and districts, and they all lost because Ezra, what you need to think about is why would a Republican want to vote for a Republican light when they can vote for the real deal? And this is like a conventional sort of wisdom that's been plaguing the Democrats ever since fucking 2016 when that dumbass Chuck Schumer decided to be like, well, you know, for every vote that we lose in the Midwest, we're gonna pick up two from the suburbs of Pennsylvania, and it's just like the idea was just we're going to forget the working class, fuck the working class. We're gonna go for this more sort of like moderate, right-leaning, suburban, upper middle class set of like individuals where they're going to probably vote for the Democrats when they turn more and more to the center and just completely ignore the fucking working class. So it's just like, and we all know how that's been working out for the Democratic Party. It's been a complete fucking disaster. And Ezra Klein also agrees with that fucking strategy, fundamentally speaking. So I'm curious to see what this guy has in terms of advice for the fucking Democrats and how they win. Keep in mind, this is coming off of the heels of this video came out the day before Zoran Mamdani's resounding fucking victory in New York, and a bunch of other progressive candidates also having resounding fucking victories in their races as well. So let's take a look. I wonder what Ezra Klein is going to say here in particular.
Democratic Party, in its back rooms and its group chats and its conferences and its online flame wars, an increasingly bitter debate has taken hold over what the party needs to do to become capable of beating back Trumpism. Do Democrats need to become more populist, more moderate,
Yes.
more socialist? Do they need to embrace the abundance agenda? Do they need to produce more vertical video?
Please do not fucking embrace the fucking Abunda agenda. God, that's like, if you want to fucking automatically lose, Abunda agenda is how you automatically fucking lose. That shit's not gonna fucking work. Nobody fucking wants Abunda agenda because it's just gonna be more of the exact same fucking status quo that nobody wants.
The answer is yes, they do. All of them, but none of them in particular. The Democratic Party does not need to choose to be one thing. It needs to choose to be more things. In a few days, there will be elections for mayor of New York City, for governor of New Jersey, and for governor of Virginia. As of now, Democrats are leading in all these races. These aren't unusual leads in what become reliably Democratic states. You can imagine a world where the violence and corruption of Donald Trump's first 9 months in office
You're gambling with World War III.
had led to a collapse in support for him and his party. We'll see what election day actually brings, but we do not look to be in that world. That's all the more true if you look a year out.
Well, we know now that it's been a complete, utter MAGA defeat. Like, it's been a complete collapse for the fucking Republican Party. They have gotten trounced everywhere, and Donald Trump is more or less now a poisoned brand. It's a poisoned name. Like, it is associated now with complete and utter fucking defeat. So that's good to know. And so far, the idea that it just depends on the district, run whoever you think is going to be able to be appropriate for the district. I don't really disagree with that idea or that notion whatsoever. Yeah, depending on certain positions, certain districts, certain whatever, who's and what's. That's, yeah, you should run the appropriate candidate for that, because I think like a Zoran Mamdani could have won the governorship for Virginia or whatever. Maybe not. Like, it depends, because like a ton of the different electorates are different for differing positions, right? Like It's one of those things where it's just like it's just such a difficult question to answer because it's just like it's just dependent on the dynamics of a particular district, of a particular state, of a particular area or whatever. Like there's a ton of different things. There's no I do agree with Ezra where he says that there is no one-stop solution to any of this. It's like, well, that's true. I can agree with that.
Out to midterms. Democrats are leading by about 2.5 points. At about this time in 2017, Democrats were up by about 10 points. Democrats have another problem. They're going to need to overcome the chain of redistricting Republicans are setting off across the country.
There may be more of a pad here for Republicans.
And the Senate is even harder for Democrats. They will need to flip 4 seats in the 2026 midterms to win back the Senate. That means winning in Maine and North Carolina, no easy task, and then winning at least 2 seats in states that Donald Trump won by 10 points or more. The map for Democrats wasn't always this daunting. Go back to 2010, and 10 of those states had Democratic senators. Today, none of them do. Most of those states seem barely in reach for Democrats.
Well, that's mostly because of Democrats themselves, right? And just how terrible their, basically just how terrible their fucking strategy of like, guys, we're just gonna be for nothing and do essentially fucking nothing, and then we'll just win somehow, forehead. Yeah, we'll totally win. It's just like, please no. Like, actually, like, have a spine and stand for fucking something for once in your miserable fucking lives, and then you'll actually win elections.
There's no arguing with this fact. The number of places in which the Democratic Party is competitive has shrunk. In American politics, power is not decided by popular vote. In the Electoral College, in the House of Representatives, and particularly in the Senate, it is apportioned by place. This is the problem for Democrats. They don't just need to win more people, they need to win more places. And that requires a different kind of thinking. If Zohran Mamdani wins the New York City mayor's race, and Rob Sand wins the Iowa governor's race next year,
The Democratic and Republican parties don't solve enough problems to deserve their little shared monopoly.
did the Democratic Party just move left or right? Neither. It got bigger. It found a way to represent more kinds of people in more kinds of places. That is the spirit it needs to embrace, not moderate.
I wholeheartedly fucking disagree with this. No. This is part of the problem that got the fucking Democrats here to begin with. The fact that they are now representing even more fucking people. Absolutely the fuck not. Like, because here's the thing. It eventually is just going to fucking start to loop back around. Like, this is what got Democrats into this fucking position to begin with. Trying to represent so many fucking different people that you end up representing no one in the end. Because that's the issue, right? Because you can't believe in every single fucking position. That's not how that works. Because if you end up trying to represent every single position or have everyone agree on every position that you have, well, you're going to end up looking insane. It's the quote by Zohran Mamdani where he was just like, if you agree with me on 12 out of 12 issues, then I'm going to assume that you're fucking insane. Because nobody agrees with anyone on everything. That's just not how reality works.
Not progressivism, but in the classic political sense of the term, representation. In 1962, Bernard Crick published this strange little book called In Defense of Politics. Politics for Crick is something precious and specific. It, quote, arises from accepting the fact of the simultaneous existence of different groups, hence different interests and different traditions, within a territorial unit under common rule. I know that's a mouthful, but that fact of difference he is pointing out, the reality of difference, is not always accepted. There are other forms of social order, like tyranny or oligarchy, that actively suppress it. But to practice politics, as Crick defines it, is to accept the reality of difference. That is to say, it is to accept the reality of other people, of how different other people are from you. Politics involves genuine relationships with people who are genuinely other people, not tasks set for our redemption or objects for our philanthropy. Genuine relationships with people who are genuinely other people. I love that line, because the endless fantasy in politics is persuasion without representation. You elect us to represent you, and where we disagree, we will explain to you why you are wrong.
Okay, I have a problem with this already. The problem that I have with this already is that Democrats, just like Republicans, also do not like democracy. One of the biggest issues with the Democratic fucking Party is that they pretend to be for democracy and like democracy, but will do basically everything possible to shove down the throats of the American people certain candidates. For example, in 2016, perfect example, Bernie would have won the primary. He more than likely would have won it if it wasn't for Debbie Wasserman Schultz and a bunch of other people like within the delegations for the Democratic Party, for the fucking DNC, basically screwing over fucking Bernie Sanders. That's what it is. This is just world fallacy. Exactly, Boy Meets Vinny. Because, again, like, you can't have a perfect, like, I don't know, like slices of the pie. You can't have like perfect representation for literally every person on the planet. It's just not how that works. Like, if you have someone who agrees with you on literally every single issue or what have you, like, no one is going to feel perfectly represented. That's just not how any of this shit fucking works. It's just, it's really, really fucking annoying and silly to just be like, oh yeah, dude, if you just have all these people, Heck and Reno, believe in all these like different things, like you can perfectly have like a perfect representation of everyone, bros. That's just totally how that works. It's like, no, that's not how that works, man. Like, it's not gonna work out like I think how these motherfuckers seem to think that it's going to work. Like, you can't have like the absolute perfect, ways to represent every single person. That's just not how that works. That's just not how reality works. And that's like the biggest problem that I have specifically with what the Democrats' current electoral strategy is. They want to try to represent every single person when it's just not going to work. And they decided to want to also like represent, probably I would say, I think this is pretty fair to say, probably some of the worst in terms of like moderate fucking Republicans for some reason, when they should not be having any representation for those people whatsoever. Like, it's complete fucking nonsense, man.
The result of that politics tends to be neither persuasion nor representation. People know when you're not listening to them, and they know how to respond. They stop listening to you. They vote for people who they feel do listen to them. I'm not a pessimist on the possibility of persuasion, but I believe it is rare, maybe impossible, outside the context of mutual respect. And if I were to say where the Democratic Party went most wrong over the last decade, it's there. In too many places, Democrats sought persuasion without representation, and so they got neither. I've spent much of the last year talking to the kinds of voters Democrats lament losing. I feel I end up having the same conversation over and over again. They sometimes tell me about issues where the Democratic Party departed from them, but they first describe a more fundamental feeling of alienation. The Democratic Party, they came to believe, doesn't like them. Many of these people voted for Democrats until a few years ago. They didn't feel their fundamental beliefs had changed, but they began to feel like deplorables. They began to feel unwanted.
250 million people are not garbage. I can tell you who the real garbage is, but we won't say that.
When I'd push on the experiences they had, when I would ask which Democrats were they talking about, what exactly had happened, I often found they were reacting to a cultural vibe as much or more than a flesh and blood party. They had felt something change, and I knew they were right, because something had changed. It had changed on the left, it had changed on the right, but it was diffuse. It wasn't any one person or any one moment or any one policy. The structure of American life changed in a way that has made the genuine relationships of politics much harder to maintain. I believe the first party that figures out its way out of this trap will be the one able to build a majority in this era.
Okay. This is a bunch of fucking nothing burger words, I'll be quite honest. Like, what did he even say there? Saying like, dude, if you somehow forehead figure out the best way to build the fucking coalition, the best way out of this the answer to the question of, oh, what's like the Heck and Reno best way to essentially just build the fucking coalition and solve these sort of woes of the American people. It's like, okay, we already have the answers to those questions though, and that's through a lot of progressive ballot measures. Consistently, even in the deepest of red states, they have consistently voted to preserve abortion rights within their states. And in deep red states, they have consistently voted for an increase to the minimum wage, consistently, and they have also consistently voted for even stuff like I don't know, I guess it's like radical as even in the minds of the Americans, I suppose, as like increased healthcare benefits, in like progressive fucking policy. We have the answers to these questions already. The problem is that the Democratic Party is not interested in providing any of those for these people.
When I grew up in a Republican county an hour south of Los Angeles, my family subscribed to the Los Angeles Times, and to the extent I heard political commentary, it was on local radio.
2005 was a tough year for California state and local taxes are. Good afternoon, Senator McClintock. Good afternoon, Senator Steinberg.
Now, the New York Times is the largest newspaper by subscribers in California. And a young, politically inclined kid like I was will listen to podcasts like...
Welcome to Pod Save America. I'm John Favreau.
I'm John Lovett.
Tommy Detour. On today's show, we'll talk about Donald Trump's latest musings about doing away with the Constitution to become president for life. President Trump.
Talk me through your evolution on Trump. Sure. That kid's political sensibility will be less distinctly Californian and more relentlessly national. For decades, we have been losing local media and migrating to national media. And that's meant politics everywhere is losing its local character and reflecting national divisions. Then there's the astonishing amount of money politicians need and the places they go to find it.
Okay, but the problem is with the destruction of local media is the fact that it's all been fucking commodified. If you decommodify media, then you're going to have a return of local media, of local representation. The problem is the fact that, well, the profit motive. That's what it is. The fact the profit motive exists, generally speaking, for, I guess, like national politics or whatever, and for media, the fact that they have to talk about certain stories in certain ways in order to be able to, for example, get, either funding or be able to make a profit is the main problem. Like, local news stories and local branches of news, generally speaking, do not make as much money, right? Like, that's not ridiculous or hyperbolic to say, and we know why this is the case. It's because local news representation is just not as profitable. So if you take out the profit motive, specifically from, well, national fucking media or whatever, and or media in general in terms of reporting, then what's going to happen? Oh, you're probably going to have a lot more sort of like news, local news, and investigative journalism, because that's the thing that's also died within America specifically, is investigative journalism into, say, companies and corporations, because a lot of American media is justified based off of access. You need to have access to the differing companies and corporations to get the sort of juicy scoops to be able to actually run some good stories or whatever. And if you don't have that access by running stories that have negative coverage of these corporations, you lose that access. And this is also the same thing for now even the fucking White House. If you decide to negatively cover the White House, you're not going to have access to a lot of the White House press pool, for example, which is genuinely fucking insane, because the point of a media is it's supposed to be the fourth arm of the government, where it keeps a check on the systems of power and balance and whatnot. But that's being eroded away simply due to the fact that there's a wannabe authoritarian in power who just hates the fact that the media covers him negatively because he's a thin-skinned, dumbass little individual. So that's generally like the problems here in particular, where it's just like, well, dog, the main issue is specifically with the fact that a bunch of corporations are essentially forced to have to put profit first rather than being able to do good reporting, because if they don't make a profit, they're going to go out of business, and then they're just not going to be able to report on stuff. Like that's the $1 million sort of, I don't know, question / problem, is the fact that news media and the whatnot has to basically kowtow to all of these fucking corporations and have to think about making a profit in order to be able to be viable within their sort of I guess environment, let's just say. That, like, you want media to be successful, don't have it be privatized, and then there you go.
In the 1970s, the Supreme Court decided money was speech.
Expenditure limitations are violative of First Amendment guarantees, and they are unconstitutional.
Campaigns became more expensive, and candidates often need a whole lot more money than what they can raise in their own states and districts. That means exciting donors
with politicians. Okay, that's. I mean, he isn't wrong there when he's talking about money in politics being a big problem. And I do agree with that. Money in politics is a huge problem. I still think honestly, the bigger issue at play is definitely not just money in politics, but it's also money in media. It's just fucking money in general, dude.
Who are much further to the left or right than the public, and winning over interest groups that see their support on policy. Money can polarize, money can corrupt, but either way, it pulls candidates away from their own constituents. That was all true when I moved to Washington to cover politics in 2005. But then something else changed.
Well, what we're going to do is get rid of all these buttons and just make a giant screen.
800 million Facebook users are coming to grips with change this week. It features scrolling news feeds and snazzier pictures.
Showing you older tweets and things you care about right on top of your current feed.
We're not going to touch the phones. Can't touch it no matter what happens.
It's a serious problem.
It really is.
How much time do you spend doing this? The average smartphone user scrolls the equivalent of 78 miles a year. That's 3 marathons.
We all know this changed politics, but for all the words that have been spilled on it, I think we still miss how fundamentally it has altered the day-to-day work of politics. Since the 2024 election, there's been a lot of talk on the Democratic side about the power of the so-called groups.
There are interest groups. There are a lot of advocacy groups, a lot of parts of the Democratic Party that really thought things were fine.
They're more extreme than many of their constituents.
The progressive advocacy organizations and nonprofits that have arguably pushed Democrats to the left. I've used that term before. I've talked about groups, but I think it is imprecise. The real thing we're talking about here is what might be called the professional political classes. The people in the groups are the same people who staff or drive all the other parts of progressive politics. One year you're with...
So is he contradicting what he wrote in the abundance agenda? Because again, the main issue is not progressive advocacy groups within Washington or in local politics. That's not the main issue. And boy meets Minnie, you can attest to this. A lot of NGOs that are quote-unquote progressive are not actually progressive. They tend to be incredibly fucking corrupt. The main issue is, generally speaking, the corporations that end up representing a lot of these sort of like NGOs, these differing sort of like interest groups and whatnot. Those are the guys that are causing the main problems within general sort of politics within the United States of America is, well, as he even mentioned himself, and I do agree with Ezra on this, is specifically with a bunch of interest groups, the Citizens United, the fact that money is speech, all that other fucking bullshit.
With a nonprofit, then you're on a campaign, then you're in the White House, then you're back at a group. You're followed on X or Blue Sky by left-leaning journalists like me, by producers at MSNBC, or by breaking news reporters at Politico. It's not a bunch of groups. It's a professional community that exists largely online. And so that professional community's culture and its attention is governed not by its own values or goals, but by the decisions of the corporations and oligarchs who own the social media platforms, who design them to further their own profits or their own politics. The conversations pulsing across these platforms are shaped not by civic values, but by the hacks that keep people scrolling. Nuanced opinions get compressed into viral slogans. Attention collects around the loudest and most controversial voices. And the algorithms, they love conflict and inspiration and outrage and anger. Everything's always turned up to 11. Social media has thrown everyone involved at every level of politics, in every place, into the same algorithmic thunderdome. It collapsed distance and profession and time because no matter where we are or when we are, we can always be online together. We always know what.
Yep, hyper commodified media is really, really bad. And again, like I've been consistently saying now at this point, this is a byproduct of commodified media. This is the main problem. It is the fact that corporations basically say like, we can just dictate whatever people say on particular platforms, and just whatever they have to say about certain things in speech. Yeah, fuck it. If we want certain things to be said, fuck it. We'll just have our platforms that we own be the main things that do the talking for us, which is bad. Like it's. I refer to him consistently because everything that Mark Fisher has said about hyper commodification perfectly pertains also to social media, and perfectly pertains also to all the commodified everything that we have right now. It's capitalist realism. The fact that every aspect of life is commodified to the degree that it is within the United States of America is what is leading to this problem. That's the main, like, if we want to go like the full 9 yards and everything, it's because everything has a commodified sort of aspect in life. Like, and I've talked about this concept before, but I'll say it again. Ever since the 30s, where capitalists started to lose significantly more and more power and prominence because of the work of a lot of socialists, there has been an effort by those exact same greedy capitalists, corporations, the rich, what have you, the bourgeoisie. You can throw any term into the wind here. The thing is, the reason for as to why this is, I suppose, the case is they have been working tirelessly to undo the tenets of the New Deal, right? Like, and this is a thing that is like broadly been written about and spoken, and this has been I don't know, for lack of a better term, like a 70+ year project that's been taken on by all these particular groups, right? 70+ years, if not longer. And it's been a way of trying to hollow away the social bonds that a lot of the proletariat, a lot of the, I suppose, like, constituents. I'm trying to think of, like, what exactly is the best way of putting this. A lot of the individuals that are supposed to be the main people who, I don't know, do all of the work for society, that being the workers. The erosion of the social bonds has been a project that's been in the works for about 70+ years. And it's approaching its zenith point. I would have liked to have, if Mark Fisher were alive today, I would have loved to have known what he would have thought about AI companions, because that's just the further evolution of everything in existence being hyper fucking commodified. Everything, and I mean everything in existence, being commodified to the degrees that it is right now. And that's the main issue. Capitalists know that the only way that they can win, because of the fact that the proletariat there's a lot of them in comparison to them. They know that they have to sow divisions upon social lines. And they have to sow as many divisions as possible in order to be successful. And essentially, well, I guess for like lack of a better term, have more and more power and control under themselves. And that's the real like main issue here in particular. The fact that we live in a ridiculously commodified media environment, in such a ridiculously sort of commodified, I don't know, mode of existence, is the main thing that has led to, I guess, like everything being as commodified as it is, and with the oligarchs being in power, as much power as they are. And it's been something that's been eroded ever since the passing of the New Deal, because again, I think it's even as like George Carlin himself said, like, it's a big club and you ain't in it, and they want to take back your Social Security money. That's what it is. Like, these motherfuckers are just mad about the fact that they have to pay out for Social Security. And that's just generally what it is. It's just a bunch of greedy corporations and the rich just want to basically get their fucking bag back, for lack of a better term.
What our most online peers are thinking. They come to set the culture of their respective political classes, and there's nothing that most of us fear, like being out of step with our peers. This has affected the Democratic and Republican parties in different ways. Let me start with Democrats. From 2012 to 2024, Democrats moved sharply left on virtually every issue. They often did so believing they were finally representing communities that had long suffered from too little representation. This was what they were told by the online voices and by the professional groups that claimed to represent those communities. But it went wrong. Democrats became more uncompromising on immigration and lost support among Hispanic voters. They moved left on guns and student loans and climate and lost ground with young voters. They moved left on race and lost ground with black voters. They moved left on education and lost ground with Asian American voters.
This is an accurate analysis again. No, it's not because of fucking woke issues, you fucking idiot. No, that's nonsense. The reason why is because they did not have an economically populist agenda. Also, they did not move left on immigration at all whatsoever. Joe Biden kept Title 42 in place and was still really bad in terms of immigration. No, this is nonsense. Complete fucking nonsense. Sort of argument here. So about what I expected from Ezra Klein, he's gonna blame it all on, I don't know, the Democrats being too fucking woke, which is nonsensical. No, the Democrats lost because they don't believe in anything. That's the main issue with the fucking Democrats. They believe in nothing.
Who left on economics and lost ground with working class voters. The only major group where Democrats saw improvement across that whole 12-year period was college-educated white voters. If you judge
Hey, Ezra, remember when Chuck Schumer said in 2016 that for every single rural voter that we lose, we're going to pick up 2 from the suburbs of Pennsylvania? It's those people. No, it's not because of Democrats moving left on economic issues or on woke issues. That is nonsensical. It is because they decided to move towards the fucking center more and more, and they tried to represent every fucking position and ended up representing absolutely fucking nothing. That's the problem with Democrats.
Democratic politics expressively by what it was saying. It stood in solidarity with the struggling and the marginalized as never before. If you judged it consequentially, it was breaking faith with those it had vowed to represent and protect. Online politics is expressive. You need to say what will win favor with the highly online voices that dominate your side of the algorithm. Offline, you need to win elections.
I sue EPA, and I'll take dead aim at the cap and trade bill. Because it's bad for West Virginia.
Yes, that was...
Nobody likes Joe Manchin, bro. Like, Joe Manchin is, I think, one of the most unpopular fucking Democrats, I think, ever. Like, nobody fucking likes them. Like, if the analysis is just like, oh, it's because they moved left, that's how you know, wallahi, this shit is fucking cooked, bro.
was Manchin shooting the cap and trade bill the Democrats have been trying to pass with a rifle. But Manchin, 12 years later, was the key vote to pass the Inflation Reduction Act, the single largest green energy investment in American history.
This is a great day because this is a balanced bill.
Expressively.
Well, no, it's because... Don't fucking give Joe Manchin any fucking credit. No, Joe Manchin was not allowing the passing of the Inflation Reduction Act and a lot of green energy incentives because he's a fucking coal baron. He's a coal guy. He has investments in fucking coal. Like, this is nonsense, dude.
says Manchin was just a constant irritant. Consequently, he was the Democrats' most remarkable overperformer. He made the majority possible by winning elections no Democrat should have been able to win.
In a state that the president in the previous election won by 42 points, the opposite party wins. Never happened. Never happened.
The most important question the party needed to be asking in that era was, where do they find more Joe Manchins? How do they make more Joe Manchins possible? But today's Democratic...
Please do not make more fucking Joe Manchins. Absolutely the fuck not. No. Absolutely. If the Democrats want to permanently fucking lose, they would get more fucking Joe Manchins. Yeah, this is fucking nonsense, dude. No, absolutely not. Do not make more Joe Manchins. It's just that West Virginia is a complete conservative, backward shithole of a fucking state. Like, that's what it fucking is. It's not because of Joe Manchin being a particularly stellar fucking candidate. Like, no, he's not. He's not a stellar fucking candidate. He fucking sucks. Like, nobody in West Virginia finds him particularly fucking palatable or popular, especially amongst the broader fucking Democratic fucking base. Like, no, the reason why the Republican Party is as popular as it is because they are always going to stick by their base, whether they like it or not. They stick by the base. They always advocate for positions for the base, and they will get them more and more and more out there. I mean, it's because West Virginia is just fucking cooked. Let's be honest here, boy meets mini. And it's just like, if the Democrats want to win, they talk about fucking populist ideas. 64% of Democrats want socialism. 9% of fucking Democrats approve of the actions of Israel. You want to win elections? That's how you fucking win elections, Ezra. You talk about socialism because that's what the constituency wants. They want socialism. They want the Democrats to no longer fucking support Israel. That's what they fucking want. None of this fucking, I don't know, idiotic fucking bullshit, bro, where it's just like, if we just keep moving more right and don't talk about fucking woke issues, could the Democrats actually win then, guys? It's like, no, dude. Absolutely not.
Party, part of its online culture, has taken forms of disagreement and difference it once held inside its tent and pushed them outside.
West Virginia's most prominent Democrat changed his registration to independent today.
There are fewer and fewer people like you in the Senate. I mean, is that...
Nobody likes Joe Manchin. Stop giving credit to fucking Joe Manchin. Like, fuck Joe Manchin. This guy's a miserable fucking wretch, dude. Like, he decided to kill the best provisions within the Inflation Reduction Act because he wanted fucking provisions for coal shit, dude. Because he's bought and paid for by fucking coal barons, dude.
Thank God.
Oh, and also, by the way, and this is what Joe Biden should have done because he's a feckless fucking coward. The thing that Joe Biden should have done, like, fucking forever ago is there was a corruption charge on Joe Manchin's fucking daughter. He should have done some fucking LBJ shit and just like, listen, Jack, you want to fucking not have your dumbass daughter deal with the fucking goddamn corruption charges that she has against her? Well, I can make that go away and disappear. No problem whatsoever. If you support my fucking goddamn bill. If you support the Inflation Reduction Act and Build Back Better. And guess what? Joe Manchin would have fucking changed his tune rather fucking quickly based off of that. Again, this motherfucker is a corrupt shithead who only cares about one thing and one thing only. And that is representation from the corporations and the rich.
Yes, they would, including some of your former party.
Oh, many of us. What required?
In 2010, when the Affordable Care Act passed, the crucial vote in the Senate came from Ben Nelson, a pro-life Democrat.
After winning fresh concessions to limit the availability of abortions.
Oh my god, he's gonna fucking... It's gonna be the same argument where he's gonna talk about running pro-life fucking Democrat. Dude, I don't know how many times this needs to be said. No one wants pro-life Democrats. Nobody wants them. Nobody wants them. Nobody in the Democratic Party wants them. They've, like, did this fucking dumbass win his fucking re-election? Did he? I don't think he fucking did. I think he probably got fucking trounced because not Obergefell v. Hodge, but Roe v. Wade is a settled issue within the fucking Democrats. People like abortion within the fucking goddamn Democratic Party. Like, he's going to advocate for running pro-life Democrats, isn't he? Because the strategy, it doesn't work. It's a strategy that, simply put, just does not fucking work. Like, period, end of story. So, it's just nonsensical to just be like, well, if we just need to run more pro-life Democrats, guys, then we'll totally be able to win. It's like, no, dude, please, for the love of all that is good and holy, don't fucking advocate for this position.
But I would have not voted for this bill and would not vote for this bill without those provisions.
There were then roughly 40 pro-life Democrats serving in the House. Crafting compromises across these disagreements was hard, but Democrats were able to pass Obamacare, which expanded reproductive health coverage and remains the greatest Democratic policy accomplishment of the 21st century. That same Democratic Party, with all of its internal disagreements, it had the votes to confirm Supreme Court justices who would, and did, in their time, protect Roe. I've been in a debate recently about whether Democrats should run pro-life candidates in red states in much the way that Republicans run pro-choice candidates like Susan Collins and Larry Hogan in blue states. I think I was taken aback to hear people say in response to this argument that I just want to throw reproductive rights overboard. So I want to say this clearly. No, I don't. I thought past episodes I've done on abortion, episodes I've done in the context of what my own family has been through, should have shown that. But what I want is a Democratic Party big enough and strong enough to protect reproductive rights. And I feel our
This is the fucking problem. You don't need to expand the tent, because if you keep expanding the tent, you're going to start pushing certain people out. Who are the people that the Democrats need to have activated and animated to want to go out and vote? Young people. And young people are overwhelmingly pro-choice. They do not want pro-life fucking goddamn Democrats. They would want the exact fucking opposite. Nobody wants these pro-lifer fucking dipshits. Nobody wants them. Besides, I guess, Ezra Klein for some reason.
Politics on this have failed. Because they have failed. We cannot protect or restore reproductive freedom if the coalition that cares about that cannot compete in more places. But this point is not about any one issue. It's about a broader approach to politics. Different places have different politics, and to win in them, politicians have to represent the people who live in them. That means representing views Democrats now find to be anathema on immigration or guns or trade or climate or trans rights. But one worry I have about Democrats right now is that they do not want to confront how much of the country truly, deeply disagrees with them. Polls show that the percentage of voters saying the Democratic Party is too liberal increased sharply between 2012 and 2024. The percentage of voters saying the Republican Party is too conservative fell during that same period. Even now, after the aggression and the outrages and the violations of Trump's second administration, that gap has not fully closed. I would like to believe that all Democrats need to do to win back these voters is embrace an agenda I'm already comfortable with. Economic populism or abundance or both. But I don't think it's true. A study by the Center for Working Class Politics found that in key Rust Belt states, when you attach the Democratic label to a candidate running on an economic populist platform, that candidate lost 11 to 16.
Yes, because people do not like the fucking vibe of the Democrats, because the Democrats believe in nothing, Ezra. That's the fucking problem. The reason why people do not like Democrats is because they believe in fucking absolutely nothing. That's the main fucking issue. That's what literally everyone has been saying. People do not like the Democratic Party because the Democratic Party believes in absolutely fucking nothing. That's the issue. They actually have to have a plan and actually fucking believe in things. But if you look at fish person Hakeem Jeffries and, well, the Bailey's telling me to do nothing, so I'm doing nothing, Chuck Schumer, that's why people fucking hate the Democratic Party. The vibe is off. It's bad. You need to fucking get better vibes, little bro.
Points in support. That's how Sherrod Brown, once one of the strongest economic populists in the party, lost his Ohio Senate seat to a Republican car dealer who had settled more than a dozen lawsuits for wage theft. Jared Golden is a Democrat from Maine. In 2024, he edged out a victory in the district Donald Trump won by nearly 10 points.
Working with Republicans to secure the border and standing with law enforcement against defunding the police. I'm Jared Golden, and I approve this message because you deserve a congressman as independent as you.
No other Democrat in Congress, not one, has survived in such a pro-Trump district.
He is declaring victory, admitting it was his toughest election yet.
Now, in what strikes me as an absolutely insane turn of events, Golden is facing a primary challenge.
Golden even said he was okay with Donald Trump becoming president again.
Instead of learning from Democrats like Golden, Democrats who are successfully representing voters who are otherwise moving towards Donald Trump, some progressives want to purge him.
Because we can do better than bad and worse.
I don't think the Democratic Party should just move right. It is good, in my view, that AOC and Zoran Mamdani run as Democrats, and that Bernie Sanders has become a leader in the Democratic Party. It is good that you can be an out-and-out Democratic socialist in today's Democratic Party. What happened over the past 15 years is the Democratic Party made room on its left and closed down on its right. For all the talk of what Democrats should learn from Sanders and Mamdani.
So, therefore, we have to go more and more to the right. More and more to the right now, Ezra? Really? This is what got the Democrats... This is actually fucking insane. This is what got Democrats into this mess to begin with. The fact that they've been going more and more to the right. Because again, like I've been saying before, if you opt to try to represent every single issue, every single fucking constituent in a national sort of election, in a national fucking politics, yeah, sure, this can work for, like, I don't know, some rural parts of fucking Maine or whatever. No one is fucking saying that. But if you try to represent every single possible position, you end up representing fucking nobody. Nobody. And yeah, this is exactly why fucking Kamala lost. She opted to just not fucking stand on anything. That Jared Golden individual literally at least seems to probably stand and agree with, like, certain positions or what have you. But the problem is that he's trying to suggest for this to be a broader national fucking strategy when this is going to completely and utterly fucking fail. No, this is fucking nonsensical, dude.
And it should learn things from Sanders and Mamdani. There should be at least as much talk of what they should learn from Joe Manchin or Jared Golden or Marie Gluesenkamp-Perez.
People are valid in their anger, and it is a fool's errand to try to talk somebody out of their feelings. That's not a good idea. But you also can affirm the validity of their feelings and also present a productive strategy for resolving some of the drivers of that anger or that fear.
Or Sarah McBride.
You can't foster social change if you don't have a conversation. You can't change people if you exclude them. And I will just...
Sarah McBride is like, again, like, the problem is that you can't have conversations with these people. It is impossible to talk with a Republican because what they're saying is that this is about Republicans, about conservatives. Do you know what fucking conservatives believe in and what they think about certain issues? They are nonsensical. That's the problem. You can't talk with these people. They do not believe in reality, especially with a lot of the average fucking American voters. And the reason for that, and it is rather fucking complicated reasonings, because of, the death of subjectivity, the sort of tenet of fucking philosophy, contemporary philosophy that I, broadly speaking, engage with. What do I mean by the death of subjectivity? The fact that we currently exist in a paradigm where people are wholeheartedly incapable, and I mean incapable of being able to fit in another person's shoes. And there are additional factors for as to why this is also the fucking case. The broader death of education, the death of fucking critical thinking have all contributed to this death of fucking subjectivity. That's the main fucking problem in particular, Ezra. It's not about people not being able to have conversations with people. It's because civic education and civic nationalism within the broader United States of America is dead. It's dead. That's the problem. Not because of, if you just like heckin' or Reno agree with like Republican positions on a bunch of different fucking bullshit, you're gonna be able to have conversations with these people and all this like heckin' cool stuff. Blah blah. No. You can't have conversations with a person who doesn't believe in fucking reality, and most of these people do not believe in fucking reality. So there is no point in trying to fight with these Republicans on like all the culture war fucking bullshit and issues when that's exactly what they want to use as wedge issues to cause fucking distractions from the broader sort of economic like destructive not environment but agenda that they have. Like, that's the main problem. You shun these people and you shove like broader populist left-leaning approaches down their throat and say like, you're gonna fucking like it whether you like it or not. You're going to get free public health care and you're gonna fucking like it, because you can't negotiate with a lot of these people. You can't reason with them. So guess what? You force them into those positions. You force them to fucking capitulate. Same thing with the fucking shutdown that's going on right now. Literally, the Democratic leadership tried everything possible to negotiate with Trump and the fucking Republicans. And what did the Republicans do in response? Specifically Trump. Have Hakeem Jeffries sitting in the background of or like have a sombrero on with a mariachi band playing in the fucking background, and have him in a fucking sombrero along with like Chuck Schumer talking about illegal immigration or some shit. You cannot reason with these people. You can't. So you have to force them to capitulate. There's only one thing that these motherfuckers are going to respond to, and that is, well, strength.
Just say, you can't have absolutism on the left or the right without authoritarianism. Right? The fact that we have real disagreements, the fact that we have difficult conversations, the fact that we have painful conversations is not a bug of democracy.
And guess what? The Republican Party has never had that for the past 40 fucking years. This is why Sarah McBride is wrong. You cannot have conversations with these people. They are not interested in that. They are all-knowing charlatans and fucking liars. They are grifters. You cannot talk with these people. It is impossible to talk with them.
Feature of democracy. And yes, that is hard and difficult, but again, how can we expect that the process of overcoming marginalization is going to be fair?
The Democratic Party should be seeking more, not less, internal disagreement. It should treat that disagreement as more welcome. It should be looking for a gut-level affinity with more of this country. Moderating...
Complete fucking nonsense. What did the Republican Party disagree on? What do they disagree on, Ezra? Not really much of anything. Making poor people, minorities suffer. Making them all fucking suffer. A broader general consensus on all of that. And if they can politically get away with that, that's what they agree on. And also driving more and more taxes and taxpayer money and cutting more taxes for the corporations and the rich. They already have this fucking consensus. There's very little that they fucking disagree on. The problem is that the Democrats are trying to be like that. That's the main issue that people are having with the fucking Democratic fucking Party. Not any of this like fucking bullshit about like, you know, if we just have like some conversations with these Republicans, we're definitely gonna find some rapport on something. Like no. They're not interested in any of that. They've never been fucking interested in that. So don't fucking bother. Don't spare it. Like, focus on the things that you really stand for, and that is what the constituents of the broader Democratic base has. And that is with economic fucking populism. What Zohran Mamdani wants. Not what any of these, like, stupid, dumb fucking conservatives want. Fuck that. Like, if you want them to agree with you on stuff, you have to be strong and force them to capitulate to that fucking position. So guess what? You do the economic populist fucking shit, and you force the fucking Republicans to come with you. That's what you do. Because the Republicans have done literally everything possible to drive the conversation further and further to the right. And guess what the Democrats have been doing? Going along with that further and furthering of the right, because they also fucking overall agree that corporations and the rich should be the ones who have control on everything. The Democrats only differ with the Republicans on really like marginal fucking issues. That's really about it. So, but people, broadly speaking, have had enough of the corporate oligarchic fucking control. And this is what I fucking have the biggest problem with Ezra Klein, is he doesn't address the main fundamental root issues that people have with, broader sort of capitalism and whatnot. People just do not want any more of this fucking oligarchic and corporate fucking control. That's what people do not want. But Ezra Klein, you know, gotta keep having our fucking billionaire buddies give more and more money to all the, I don't know, like dumb fucking like New York Times article readers and writers to, I don't know, digest and create more of this fucking slop, dude. It's just nonsensical, dude. This is not an actual address for the real fucking issues that people are having. People want economic populism. They do. Like, you can take a look at the fucking polling for asking even what the fucking Democrats want. They want economically fucking populist stuff. But a lot of the fucking political class in America will do everything possible to fucking stop that. And that's the issue.
Hitting on this or that issue is more straightforward than finding ways to radiate respect and interest in people who disagree with you and people you've come to feel far away from. It is the building of genuine relationships in politics, not the taking of positions, that is truly hard. But that's also the part that is beautiful. It's a privilege to do that work, not a concession. We are more able to admit complexity and extend generosity when we see others as part of our community. Working to widen that circle of empathy, to widen our circle of belonging, is both morally and politically good. Whatever the problems are on the left, there is something truly frightening brewing on the right.
Putting aside the tribal interest for the corporate interest, that's absolutely the case. And that's the only way the country's going to stay together.
Exactly. That's my concern.
And I absolutely agree with you. I would say, though, that
they're going
the
more
big challenge to that.
right.
The big challenge to that is organized Jewry in America.
Paul Ingrassia, President Donald Trump's nominee to lead the Office of Special Counsel, not a small job, said on a text thread leaked to Politico that he had a, quote, Nazi streak. A separate text thread of young Republican leaders leaked to Politico had messages about sending enemies to the gas chambers, and one saying, quote, I love Hitler. Ingrassia had to withdraw his nomination. But Vice President J.D. Vance has dismissed coverage of the young Republicans' messages as pearl-clutching.
And I really don't want us to grow up in a country where a kid telling a stupid joke, telling a very...
Yeah, we know that this is the inevitable thing that Republicans were always going to do. They were always going to go further and further to the right. This has been the case since Ronald Reagan. Yeah, they're Nazis. They are Nazis. Like, I'm going to say this again. They are Nazis.
Offensive stupid joke is cause to ruin their lives.
Look, I don't want to ruin anybody's life either, but these were recent statements by adults who are vying for leadership in political organizations with official ties to the Republican Party. There is no rule of civic generosity or political practice that Trumpism has not broken. And for many I know on the left, it's created a sense that there is no sense in trying to appeal to the median voter. No sense in moderation.
No, it's not about wanting to appeal to the median voter. That's not the problem that people are having. No one wants to appeal to fucking Republicans. Nobody wants to appeal to those motherfuckers because they're just not interested in being appealed to.
No sense in any of the old rules of politics. Look at how extreme the right has become. Yet they've thrived. And this telling Trump understands what the Democrats don't. Nothing matters anymore except attention. But a few things are wrong with that. Trump did moderate the Republican Party in crucial areas. Medicare, Social Security, trade. And the simple truth is, Democrats...
No, the fuck they did not. No, they didn't. Did you take a look at the One Big Beautiful Bill? What the fuck are you talking about? They got moderated on fucking Medicare and Medicaid. They literally are cutting that in the One Big Beautiful. This is nonsensical. This is why I fucking hate Ezra Klein, dude. Like, yeah, the Republican Party has moderated on Medicaid and Medicare and on trade and all this. No, the fuck they did not. That is non-fucking sensical, bro. Absolute. This is why I fucking hate this guy, dude.
Can't win the way Trump and the Republicans do. Trump and the Republicans lead a coalition built on overwhelming strength in rural counties. America's place-based politics gives rural places disproportionate political power. Trump and the Republicans can hold power with a smaller coalition than Democrats can. And then there's this.
Yeah, and that's a problem with the current function of the Electoral College and with the electoral system that exists within America, Ezra. Like, that's a problem with the Electoral College and all that shit, Ezra. Like, that's the problem, Ezra. People want to actually feel represented, Ezra. Like, that's the issue, especially with a lot of fucking Democrats. Why they also have an issue specifically with the Electoral College, Ezra. It's just, why is he like this, dude? It's all just the worst possible prescriptions on the fucking planet, dude. God.
Yes, Democrats shouldn't want to win the way Republicans do. This country could break. The abyss is dark and it is...
Bro, but you want them to win like the Republican Party does. Why do you think... You're trying to push them more and more to the right, bro. Okay, man.
In America, like other countries, has fallen into it before and can again. I see the simple fact of a free and fair politics as much more of an achievement, something much more precious and difficult to preserve. I no longer take it or the habits of citizenship or politics to preserve it for granted. We cannot trust that providence or some innate American exceptionalism protects us from calamity. It doesn't. Over the past year, I've found myself obsessively reading histories of liberalism, looking for something, even though I didn't know exactly what. Illiberalism is winning right now. But there's nothing unusual about that. By modern standards, virtually every past society was illiberal. And we now call them illiberal. That exclusion and domination and state suppression have been made strange enough to demand a label. That is the unlikely achievement. But how did liberalism do it? For most of my life, when I called myself a liberal, I meant basically someone who believed in universal healthcare and the right to form a union and racial equality and social security. But in its oldest forms, liberalism was built on a virtue that we rarely talk about today. To the ancient Romans, being free required more than a republican constitution. It also required citizens to practice liberalitas, which referred to a noble and generous way of thinking and acting towards one's fellow citizens. The word liberalitas became liberality. Liberality proposed, it demanded, a different way of relating across disagreement and division. It flowered into religious tolerance when that idea was truly radical. It built...
Okay. We're talking about Enlightenment values here. If we want to think about the Enlightenment values, right, for example, you should be for open borders. Like, unironically, Enlightenment liberals thought that there should be open for specifically only men, not for women, but for men. That is, like, to a neoliberal is nonsensical. And that's the fucking main problem here. Neoliberalism is not liberal. What Ezra Klein represents is the neoliberal fucking position. And it is out of complete fucking lockstep with that of the general sort of fucking party. And that's the broader issue that people are having with the positions that Ezra Klein has in particular. He just wants the exact same fucking illiberal, quote-unquote, bullshit as the fucking Republican Party. These people are extremely fucking similar. I've said this before, but the main problem, that issue that people are generally having with the broader Democratic fucking Party is the fact that they are just uninterested in moving more and more to the left and are actually not interested in representing real fucking liberal positions. That's the issue people are having with the fucking Democrats. They pretend to be liberals, but they represent conservative ideas consistently. And that is why people do not like the fucking Democratic fucking Party. This is as Jennifer Welch said herself, and she said it perfectly from I've Had It. They're MAGA-lite. That's what it is. They do not represent the actual liberal position, which would be fucking popular. It would be popular. Democrats don't represent that. They've never fucking represented that for the past 40 fucking years, and that's why they keep losing.
Towards liberalism's great insight, liberalism's first idea. Conflict of interests and beliefs was to the liberal mind inescapable. If tamed and turned competition in a stable political order, conflict could nevertheless bear fruit as argument, experiment, and exchange. Today, finding ways to turn our disagreements into exchange, into something fruitful rather than something destructive, seems almost fanciful. I saw a poll a few weeks ago that struck me. It asked Americans what they thought the top problem facing the country was. Number one was the economy. That was what I expected. But number two wasn't immigration or inflation or democracy or even Donald Trump. It was political division. Now, Spain polls 64% of the country, so they think we're too divided to solve our problems anymore. They're not wrong. Right now, the project of America feels to many impossible. And not just on the left. I hear it every time J.D. Vance or Stephen Miller speaks. I hear it when Trump says,
I hate my opponent, and I don't want the best for them. I'm sorry.
When I hear that, I hear something scary. But I also hear an opening, an opportunity. I keep coming back to something Crick writes. The moral consensus of a free state is not something mysteriously prior to or above politics. It is the activity, the civilizing activity of politics itself. Something to be valued almost as a pearl beyond price. In America, for all our sins, our injustice, our oppression, a freer state emerged through the practice of politics. It did not do so painlessly, it did not do so bloodlessly, but it did happen. And for a time, it gave us confidence in ourselves and in our system. It showed what could emerge from genuine relationships between people who are genuinely other people. And I think it still could again.
This is completely just inaccurate fucking analysis. No, like, it's not because of a lack of liberalism, a lack of practicing more and more fucking conservative ideas. The problem with the fucking Democrats is the fact that they, like the Republican Party, have the exact same fucking corporate donors. That's what it is. And people are sick and tired of the fucking oligarchy that is currently in power and in control. Yeah, he's learned nothing. This is the exact same fucking failed fucking analysis consistently from Ezra fucking Klein. Like, he's learned exactly fucking nothing, Boy Meets Minnie. Like, this is the continued exact failing of his initial fucking analysis in the Abunda agenda. It's the exact same fucking failed bullshit. And this is why people are just not fucking taking Ezra Klein seriously. And Democrats should not follow this advice. They should listen to what the broader fucking constituency wants. They want life to become more affordable. That's why the blue wave happened, by the way, where the Republicans were talking about like complete utter fucking nonsense, for lack of a better term. The Democrats were actually focusing on agenda of affordability. That's what they were fucking focusing on. None of this like stupid namby-pamby like Republican fucking bullshit. People have had enough of the further corporate fucking consolidation that has been going on for, at this point, the latter part of 40 fucking years. People have had enough, and they want something better, Ezra. That's what they fucking want. None of the exact same fucking bullshit like you've been saying consistently over and over and over again. Like, guys, you know, if we keep, like, not addressing any of the material conditions on the ground and whatnot, and, you know, if the Democratic Party practices a good, like, I don't know, style of politics, that ultimately doesn't challenge the corporate sort of like oligarchy that exists within the United States of America, that means, and we try to have conversations with people who are not honest actors, then we're going to actually have a much better politics. That's non-fucking-sensical. It's nonsensical. That's not how any of this shit works. People are not interested in finding rapport with the conservatives. What people want is for the corporations and the rich to get the absolute living shit taxed out of them, and they want an improvement to their fucking material conditions. And if the fucking Democrats run on an unabashedly populist fucking messaging and program, they're going to win. And they're going to crush, even in all these red states that Ezra pretends to, want to soy the fuck out over for the vaunted sort of like Republican fucking median voter that all these motherfuckers have been simping for consistently for a very, very long time. You want to actually get those people? You want to know what's going to work? Economic fucking populism is what's going to work with these people. But Ezra Klein's not interested in fucking economic fucking populism. So, you know, instead of having, based economic populism, more Abunda agenda fucking bullshit and nonsense. And if we just keep playing more and more to the center as much as fucking possible, that's what's probably going to be the most effective. No. It's a complete, utter failure, and Ezra Klein has fundamentally learned absolutely fucking nothing ever since he put out his fucking dumbass book on the Abunda agenda. So, you know, if Democrats want to lose, they would follow this advice. Like, no cap. I'm being so fucking serious when I say this. If the Democratic Party wants to lose, they follow this fucking advice, and it's going to be fucking over. Because, again, what Ezra Klein is overall talking about here is just, again, capitulating more and more to the right for literally no fucking reason. And that is just not going to work with the current Democratic constituency and what is beginning to emerge right now amongst the fucking Democratic Party. It's not going to work, and it's going to end up in the exact same fucking failure where people are just going to look at the Democrats and be like, wow, these guys believe in basically absolutely nothing, because guess what? That's one of the biggest problems with the fucking goddamn Democratic Party. They believe in almost fucking nothing. And people are sick and tired of a party, that being the Democratic Party, being a party that believes in nothing fundamentally. People have had enough, and they want, like, some actual, like, populist fucking rhetoric to emerge from the fucking goddamn Democratic fucking Party. That's what they actually want. None of this fucking stupid abunda fucking bullshit. Like, no one wants that. That shit's over. It's done. It's been tried. It's been tested. It's fucking cooked. All right? Like, people want the fucking populism. That's what they fucking want. None of this other fucking bullshit. So yeah, like, he's basically learned absolutely fucking nothing, and it's just going to be more and more of the exact fucking same bullshit as always if we want to listen to what fucking Ezra Klein has to fucking say. Complete utter, just do not follow this fuck. If you're a fucking Democratic politician, you should do the exact opposite of following Ezra Klein's fucking advice. And I'm being so real when I say that.